Hello, bonjour, Alberta. Did you know that at least 238,000 people speak Français in Alberta? And those numbers just keep on growing? Oui, oui, c'est vrai, it's true. And thanks to Shaw TV Community Access Programming, we get to reach out to everyone to let you know all about special people, places, events, and activities happening right here in this great province, in both English and en français. That's right, mes amis. We begin the first part of our program in English, and then we repeat it en français. So stay with us. Restez à l'écoute. Hello, bonjour, Alberta. Welcome to our show once again. I'm Anne Boiteau.
And I'm Marc Lalonde.
And today we're talking bisons. Did you know that in Alberta we have two kinds of bisons, the woods bison and the plains bison? Not to mistake those bisons with buffaloes. No, we don't have buffaloes. And we are chatting today with Jeanne and André Cormeau, who are bison producers. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So how does one think about starting a bison farm?
Well, when you are retired and you're looking for a challenging project, that's the way to go.
I see.
I'm not
and
sure.
you recommend that to everybody?
Yeah,
Yes.
very
so
challenging.
I have a backyard that's not doing anything. Is that enough room?
For half a bison. Okay, and so you had the land before, and you were talking with some farmers around, and
That's right.
and you got started with bisons.
Yes.
First of all, cows, or you had beef
No,
grazing.
we had farmers renting our land for cows.
Okay.
And then with the mad cow crisis, no one wanted to rent our land anymore, and the willow bushes were growing like crazy, and it was becoming completely overgrown. So we got more and more into the idea that maybe we should have bison. At first it was a joke, and then it was an idea that grew, and finally we did it.
So did you start with just one or a couple, or how
We
did
started
you
with 16.
16.
If you have a bison on its own, it will go crazy and it will go through any fence because it's lonely. You could never have one bison. They're very much a herd animal.
Okay.
Yes.
So you have to buy them in a group.
Oh, yes.
You have to start them in a group. So were you all set up to did you research it and find out everything you needed to build before you got the bison?
Well, when the BSC crisis hit, we couldn't get beef on our land anymore, and we were looking for something else that would be low maintenance. And by chance, we stopped by a bison producer was feeding his animals, and we asked a few questions. They showed us, they actually drove us in the middle of the herd and took pictures. I like to do photography, and I was taken immediately by these huge animals that came from historical times. So yes, we ask questions, and they don't need a nursery or anything. They are self-maintained. You need to bring them hay, and you need to give them salt and just basic supplies, but they don't need a nursery when they are at calving time. They are easy maintenance.
And they just stay outside all year round?
They stay outside all year round. The only trouble is they like to travel a lot, okay? If they go through a breach in the fence, you'll find them 80 kilometers away the next morning. And
a little embarrassing.
And mostly they'll be shot by the RCMP because they are very threatening and dangerous animals. So you need to confine them, and that's the main problem.
So you have a very heavy-duty fence
That's correct.
around their area.
And you keep monitoring it
Yes,
all the time.
we do. But even if a tree lands on it, it just sags a little bit. we have a high tension wire along the top.
Well,
So it's a good
well,
fence,
actually, we
yeah.
use the oil-filled waste, tubing and cables. So we have like a half-inch steel cable at the top of steel posts with page wire, kind of a mesh that's held by the post, and that cable at the top, it cable at the bottom. So when you have an animal that really wants to get out, it acts a bit like a trampoline. It will stretch out and it will bring it back. Yeah.
Okay.
So they just have the feeling they're leaving, but
Well,
nothing else.
Yeah.
yes, so it doesn't actually have to resist them like a brick wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those sorts of
There are
things.
some bears
So-
though that climb underneath the fence. You can see where they've kind of scratched on it. A bear can compress to almost nothing, go under. It's amazing.
Oh.
Woods
Yeah.
bison are much bigger than plains bison, so you really need a serious fence.
So,
Yeah.
so how big are they? How tall do they stand?
Well, a big bull can go up to 7 foot.
At the hump, yeah.
So they're taller than you are for the most
Yeah.
part.
Yeah.
Because you're not
Yeah.
6 feet tall, as I
No.
recall.
Yeah.
And they can weigh 2,500 pounds. They can weigh huge, yeah.
So that's bigger than my car.
Yes.
Almost, anyway.
And what is the difference between the plains bison and the woods bison?
Temperamentally, they're very different. The plains bison are much more unpredictable and violent. I mean, we know quite a few plains bison farmers, and they wouldn't walk among their herd the way that we do.
Oh.
And that was a big reason why we chose woods bison. We don't want to have to run for shelter every time we see one.
Yes.
Plains
So-
bison has a well demarked cape on the coat, and the woods bison, the hump is forward from the legs a bit more. And they are bigger animals. That it's
And
difficult.
the meat, does it taste the same?
Exactly.
Yeah?
Yes.
The,
Oh,
the meat is the same. Yeah.
yeah.
Ah, okay.
But if you speak meat, a cross between the woods and the plains bison is an animal that will create the most meat. They grow bigger, faster. So in auction, they are the highly priced animals usually.
Ah,
They take the best aspects of each species, of each subspecies,
wow.
when you cross them, if you're careful. Yeah.
So are the crossed animals as violent or not as the plains? Or does
I
it
don't know.
vary?
I don't really know.
I think that when
We-
farmers get violent animals, they tend to shoot them. You know, if they're really a problem. Cause
I see. Yeah, or
Yeah.
get rid of them, sell them
Yeah,
really
sell them
quickly,
quick.
I guess.
We have a friend producer. He uses his truck to go through his herd. He won't walk through his herd on his own.
no,
So you spoke that they don't need a nursery.
no.
So I take it they calve their little bisons out on the on the prairie on the
land.
grounds directly.
Actually, the female will disappear for a couple of days in the bushes to give birth, and then she will, when the calf has gained strength, they will join the herd back. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when they're born, how big are they?
They weigh 80 pounds and they're ginger colored.
They're ginger colored.
Yeah, they're absolutely
Okay.
cute.
Oh, they
Yeah.
are about
Yeah.
this tall, yeah.
And the parents are so protective of them. Like the herd, kind of surrounds them and.
So that's not a good time to walk through the herd.
Oh no, they're still fine with
Still there?
us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I think they would be
Better.
more inclined to spook than at other
Then
times.
they normally-
I wouldn't walk by a female on her own with a calf
No.
in the bush.
You never
we, we had a friend who came in and was charged at the gate because the gate happened to be between the mother and the calf.
Oh,
Yeah.
It was
so
a false charge though. Like she made him think he was
She
being
was gonna-
charged
he
just
would be
to
charged,
scare
but
him.
then
Yeah.
she swerved off at the last second.
So how long before they're fully grown? How long do you keep an individual a bison?
Well, the bulls reach their full size at around 7 years, and the females stop growing around 2, don't they? They just get more wide. They
Just get
kind of-
bigger.
yeah.
Okay.
And for meat, you sell them when they're relatively young, right?
probably before 30 months.
Before
Yes.
30
Before
months.
30 months,
Yeah.
okay. So are they almost fully grown at that point?
Not quite.
Not quite.
Well, they are still kind of teenager types.
Ah,
Okay.
okay.
Still a little
okay.
tender before they
Yeah,
get.
that's right.
Okay.
That's
And-
when the taste of the meat peaks. Yeah.
Okay. And how do you renew the herd? Like every year, do you sell so many and then, or just one or two since your herd is small, or what?
We sell the calves and we keep the best female calves. And we try to grow a group, or we try to swap with other producer. Well, we're still trying to hope for it, to try to increase the gene pool, because it went down to a bottleneck of 16 animals, and
at one point in
time.
Yeah.
But they found some hidden herd in the northwest or the Yukon, I think, and we have one bull that's coming from there, so trying to increase the gene pool.
Ah, okay. So they can live in colder climate as well as more south, like here? They love the cold?
When it's like 30 degrees below, they'll just go against each other. They'll find a dip where that's sheltered from the wind, and they'll keep against each other to keep warm until it passes. They grow big crystals on the coat, and they have a very thick coat. They lose their coat at this time of the year. The coat is coming out in big patches. They go for a good scratch in the woods.
Or no? Do people use the coat as?
People buy it's called a robe when you buy the complete coat, and there's a huge market for that all over the world. Yeah. And also the wool is the best wool. There's only one other wool that rivals bison wool, and that is from the muskox. So it's for sale to the fashion industry, for really high-end fashion.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you shave them, or no?
Apparently, I know a woman who sells it, and she picks it up off of branches, because if you shave them, then you get hard ends, and it makes it more tickly. It's better if it falls out naturally.
There are two coats. You have the undercoat, which is desirable, and then you have a long coat.
The guard hairs.
That rougher hair.
So there's all that
but
too.
We know producers who use car wash brushes, those big nylon brushes, and bison like to go and scratch against those, and that's an easy way to collect the wool.
Okay.
Several byproducts from
They're
the bison.
not going to let you go and comb them, I'm afraid.
No, I guess not, eh? Not there yet.
But then again, they're an animal that has evolved here for this climate.
That's right.
Unlike horses and even dogs and cats, that all comes from elsewhere. So the bison can.
Yeah, certainly.
But they almost disappeared, you were saying.
Yeah, the woods bison.
The woods bison almost went extinct.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's thanks to the vision of early ranchers who saved the species, otherwise we wiped out today.
Yes.
It went down to 16 animals, so it's pretty narrow bottleneck, and some of them caught brucellosis and tuberculosis, and they got shipped out to Woods National
Wood Buffalo
National Park,
yes.
where they are still dealing with those diseases. And there are actually research projects to try to inseminate embryos from woods bison into plains bison. The plain bison population is very healthy, but the woods is really troublesome.
As surrogates to increase the population faster. I see. Well, that's all very fascinating, isn't it?
Yes, very interesting thing. That's all the time we have, I'm afraid. So, but thank you so much for being with us today. It was very interesting on bison. And please stay with us. On continue en français.